Okay, I'm taking it off. It's coming off.
All right, it's coming off, everybody, and we are recording. We are not live, but we are recording. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another show. I'm here with my new friend, Aasha, and she is all the way on the other side of this realm in Australia right now. And that's actually synchronicity because I've recorded a bunch of shows with my friend Kaylee, who's in Melbourne, Australia, but you're in another part of Australia, on the other side, right? Where are you?
I am actually north of Melbourne, about, I have no idea. I'm not very good with that kind of stuff, but I'm north.
Okay, we'll just say.
North of Sydney by 3 hours drive.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you end up there, actually? I wanted to ask you that, but since we're recording, I might as well ask you now.
Yeah, I actually, it's interesting because there's two answers to that. The first answer is I came here because I was living in New York City and the global financial crisis happened. So this was about 11 or 12 years ago. And a girlfriend was just like, oh, you better go check out Australia. You'll love it. And I was like, screw it. So I just jumped on the plane by myself with one bag and moved to Australia. And that was 12, 13 years ago. But the second answer is it's all part of the plan, baby. So I was placed here by the universe, and that I didn't realize until I had my ascension this year. But yeah, that's it. And it's such a beautiful place. I mean, I'm really lucky. I'm a dual citizen of the United States and Australia. So I feel really blessed to be able to have that opportunity to have two countries to call home.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. That's really cool. I love that you just jumped in a plane and were like, you know what? Because I hear you. I felt like that so many times in my life, you know. I actually was going to guess that you were a criminal and you were thrown there because it was like, isn't it a crime colony or sorry, that's just a terrible joke.
Oh yeah, shoot. Sorry. How did you find out? Yeah.
That's how
Actually,
like
that is the true story. Yeah.
That's the story of how they say it started, but yeah, who knows what the really deep story is. So you were living there for yeah, I know, right? What is it? That's what I want to know. It's probably something like Tartaria or something. But so you're living in Australia, doing your thing and everything. So you said you had your ascension. I'm assuming you mean like kind of like you woke up to a different reality. You have like a different viewpoint on the world now. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story. I don't know if you want to go down that path, but I'm absolutely happy to share it. It was I was given sort of a soul tie, someone who they refer to it as a twin flame. I've kind of come off the labels personally, but at the time when it was happening to me, I was referring to it as a twin flame, and it actually really helped me get through what was going on. But essentially, someone, God, universe, whoever, placed a person in front of me at the end of 2020, and this was like my husband and I had just separated, and this person basically, we had a really intense connection, and then 6 weeks later he just dropped me, and it was like, oh my God, it was like someone literally chopped my arm off. And when I met him, it was like all of this stuff started happening to me. It was almost like I had taken ayahuasca. I've never taken ayahuasca. A friend said, what you're describing is pretty much like an ayahuasca journey. So when I met him, I basically lost about 15, 20 pounds. All up, I've lost about 26 pounds. My eyes changed to sort of like from a blue to like more of a blue gray. And I was like, ah! And I shot up to like the 56th dimension. And it felt like I was sort of like on drugs and all this crazy stuff was happening. And I saw myself as a mermaid and I actually saw like, we're going deep. We're like 2 minutes in. I'm already going deep already.
That's what I do here. I go, trust me, I'm in normal conversation usually. And like, I was talking to the tree guy, right? This guy comes to look at a tree today and I'm like 5 minutes in, I'm like, whoa, I got to slow down. Like, it's like, I'm just like talking about like, you know, the nature of reality. It's like, oh. It's
It's
crazy.
insanity.
Because
It's
he said he was talking about the because he's talking about growing stuff, because I had like some stuff I'm setting up to grow, and he's like, oh yeah, you have to, he was talking about corn and how you don't want to get the GMO corn because people, you know, he's like, they used to throw the seeds on other people's land, and then Monsanto would come in and claim it because it was genetically theirs. And I'm like, yeah, what if you put a genetically altering substance in a human and then people try to make claims on them? He's like, whoa. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's get back to the tree. Like, so anyway, back to your story.
It's a very good point. A lot of people have lost their whole livelihoods based off of that Monsanto situation with the seedlings.
Yeah, and if you put a substance in your body that has been known to modify your RNA, then what claims can a company make? Maybe, I don't know, just making up things. Anyway,
I mean, God, it wouldn't put it past you. Like,
yeah,
and then they
own
you, and oh my gosh, are we diverting this? No, I'm teasing.
No, go back to your story. I just talking about how I go deep too, and I derailed it, but we're back.
Exactly.
We're back, everybody.
I love that about you. There's no coincidence that I'm here today. So when it was happening, also,
so you started smoking crack. That's where we were. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know the feeling without doing it. I know what you're saying.
I know. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. Because of this experience, I realized that grace and love are like really the thing that will heal the planet, because of what I experienced with people's responses to me when I was having like this crazy ascension. So anyway, we'll get there in a sec. But what happened was basically I saw like the whole realm like go. It was just like I describe it almost like a Rolodex, where I was seeing like time just flipping back and forth. It was like this feeling of knowing that like we had been here before, like it was like technology was repeating itself. And I really couldn't understand what was happening. Before that, I've always been very open-minded and I'm pretty worldly. I've been to about 17 countries. And so I've always been pretty open-minded, but I had never experienced anything like that before. And so then when he left me, when he dropped me, I saw everything about myself. I was like, I saw like my attachment wounds, my codependency, my abandonment wounds. And I realized I had to heal my internal wounded masculine, because whatever I was looking for from him, I had within myself. And so throughout that process, I just kept getting more and more, whatever you want to call it, messages from God, message from downloads, all this stuff coming in. At one point I was like, I am like here to save the world. Like it was full on. But yeah, I managed to, I don't really fuck around. So I managed to heal most of everything within sort of 60 days. People will sit in this situation for years. And I was like, no, this is a gift. I'm being given this gift to help other people to understand the detriments of not addressing your wounds and marrying on wounds and understanding the push-pull dynamic of energy. So it's been amazing.
Wow. That's definitely a lot. I can't believe that. That's great that you were able to do it within 60 days. I know what you're saying about sitting in it and yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. And I think a lot of people can relate to this, Brandon, because even like narcissist empath relationships, and it doesn't necessarily even need to be a relationship. It can just be a friend or a family member. But these people are here that I refer to them as contracts, so that you make these contracts before you come down to this realm, and you agree that you're going to help one another on your spiritual journey, on your consciousness up leveling. So we have a choice of either having a breakdown or a breakthrough when this happens. And a breakdown looks like a lot of men actually end up homeless, or drinking, or, just stuck in the muck. And then instead of healing themselves, they'll shut their heart down and then end up with a woman who loves them and they don't love them quite as much. Can be a really detrimental cycle of energy exchange, where women oftentimes don't know how to handle it and they're scared, and they go be part of a nunnery, or they can sit in it as well for a long time, but they have sisterhood. It's a little different. Women are a little bit more open about this. So all that said, I sort of just tooled up. I went back to school for trauma, attachment theory, PTSD. I went to learn energetic healing through shamanism. And also now I'm doing grid reading, theology, and I'm going back to school for terrain theory, which is using blood to help heal people, so that emotions detachment and emotion regulation.
Wow. So what what tools are you able to use to heal yourself, basically? I mean, did you use any of these methods, or was it just like a conscious awareness of your problems and you were just like, I'm done?
Well, I was really lucky, and I don't obviously think anything's a coincidence. So I had been in emotional intelligence for 2 or 3 years. So I had already had the understanding of amygdala hijacks, which is when our prefrontal cortex gets flooded with an emotion, whether it's our reptilian brain floods and we go into fight or flight. Now, that can either be love or deep anger. That's when we like really triggered and pissed off and we like lash out. That's an amygdala hijack. So it's like a big, so I had already known that something was going on, and I was able to really view it, even though it hurt like hell. I mean, it literally was probably the most pain I've ever been through. It was like mourning the death of myself and this person that this random person that came into my life. It was so crazy. But no, I went immediately to my girlfriends. I hired an ascension coach. I spent about 25 grand actually on my healing process, because I had the means at the time, and I knew that it was something that the universe was asking me to do. I could see that there was like light at the end of the tunnel. So I just spun the dice and went for it. And the two things that helped the most were shamanic journeying. I don't do drugs or drink or anything. I've been sober for about 9 months, but just inward shamanic journeying, and going inward, deep inward, and hypnosis, subconscious understanding of what's going on. I had a period where I was crying every single day. And then I had a hypno session and went in and did like past life regression. And I haven't cried since. Like, here or there, but like nothing like what was going down. It like literally saved my life. And I was like, this work is so amazing. And a lot of people can benefit from this type of help moving forward on their journeys.
Yeah, I just had a friend who hit me up actually on the last new moon, and she had just done something similar to that. It was the hypnotherapy regression. I don't know exactly what it's called, but she's in the Air Force, and she's in the Air National Guard, and she's an officer. So, they probably get like the best whatever treatment. So she did some of that, and I guess she didn't even really remember what she saw, but when the therapist described it to her, she wrote it down and everything, and she talked to me about it, and we discussed it, and it was pretty amazing, because I feel like a lot of the trauma that affects people these days happens, it's like as above, so below. So yes, it does happen when we're children, but it's also passed down from our parents when they're children, from their parents when they were children. So it's like this vicious cycle that happens. And a lot of this gets to the root of that in her experience anyway. She was telling me it seemed like it. And, I was telling her, if you're able to heal it now, it kind of goes back and heals the whole timeline, so.
And more importantly, is it stops the pattern for when she has children, or if she has children now, it will still stop the pattern, because that's how energy works. So as she's going in to clear that stuff, she's creating higher levels of consciousness. So she's vibrating higher. And when we vibrate higher, excuse me, it affects everyone around us. And that becomes either people are drawn to it or they're repelled from it. So a good example is I do repel a lot of people, but that's okay, because I'm vibrating at a really high frequency, because I continuously go in to clear that stuff. And, whether or not you believe in past lives or not is really not the point. It could just be I do. I personally believe in that. I after what I saw with this, like almost like Rolodex of us just like repeating, that's hard for a lot of people to fathom, but I saw it. I don't lie. I just like whatever, but, it's just something that I was able to experience. And whether or not you believe in it, it's not important, because it's the subconscious mind. So emotional intelligence, which is my initial modality, is a conscious understanding of your own awareness. And the great thing about emotional intelligence is it's measurable and it's very analytical. So I actually have a company called EQ Culture, where we implement emotional intelligence into organizations. It's a organizations and schools. And it's awesome. I have such a good time. And some of these people just have never done any sort of self-development, right? They haven't really journeyed anything like that, or some are trying or interested, but they haven't really started. So it's great because we're able to give them a test that measures the 26 competencies of EQ. That's what started me on this path. And I had a recent discussion with someone. They were like, do you do spirituality? And I'm like, it's a great question, because EQ started my spiritual journey because I was wriggling around on the surface, right? And then I realized that I needed that, like the universe put that person in front of me to be like, boom, there you are, motherfucker. That's your entire being. I'm completely exposed. And there's a beautiful diagram called Johari window that actually helps to explain that. I'm happy to share that. And basically I was cracked open and EQ is the vehicle that got me there. And I realized how important, if you're going to get to the root, that you need to really explore that subconscious mind. There's so much that we store there. And so I also took a course on just epigenetics and DNA and the understanding of how deep does it go? How far back do we go when we're holding on to these things? That's like anxiety, alcoholism, depression, these things that we call hereditary are just imprints that we hold on to from a traumatic experience down the line. And money issues, limiting beliefs, paradigms, behavioral patterns. And so you go in and you clear that and you figure out what the charge is, the negative charge that you're holding on to, and you remove it. And then it's beautiful. And like, it's the most amazing thing. It really is. It's so good.
How do you get started with somebody doing that work?
So I have a few different things that I offer. I do women's group coaching. We're called the Self-Worth Warriors. And it's all about going inward and addressing. It's mostly my two main things, Brandon, are increasing and magnetizing, increasing your frequency for magnetizing, and self-love and detachment, because detaching from everything is the key to happiness. It really is. I mean, it is just no attachment, understanding that like people are just doing their own thing and that no one is here to hurt you. The hurt is always within yourself. Like people can't hurt you without your permission. So detach from everything. And so what we do in those courses is lots of different stuff. I do energetic activations. I do grid readings on individuals, sound bowl therapy, hypnosis, all this beautiful stuff to help people really go in. And what ends up usually happening after these 8 weeks that I work with these women is they step into their soul work. So I've had women like going back to church. I've had women like who are now exploring being psychics, others who are being shamans, whatever their archetype is and whatever their soul's mission is. Some just being moms, and one woman went back and danced after she's in her 60s, and she went back to ballroom dancing, and just really lining up with like the love for yourself. So that's sort of one thing. And then I do private coaching. That's my most premium offer. And then I do one-on-one sessions as well, which are really powerful and really only need them for like once every 3 months, because I'll identify your core wound, and what sometimes like just even knowing what it is, it can completely change your trajectory, or like just be like awareness can just be enough sometimes. But I go into the field and do a blend of different types of grid work to help detach the emotion that you're holding on to, the heavy emotion.
Wow, that sounds That sounds really interesting and very fulfilling also at the same time. I mean, like, being able to help people like that, it's amazing.
I love it. And, I think we're just at the beginning. I mean, so for the listeners, Brandon and I are in the same group on Discord. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we are lining up. I think there's a lot more that's going to be unveiled as far as people healing themselves. So in the group that we're in, I'm Healer Bear. And it's, I just mentioned to you, I'm going back to school for terrain theory, which is blood plasma. And because there's a couple guys called the Bigglesons, and their father was Dr. Biggleson. And basically the gist is that if you have, pancreatic cancer, you've got 10 patients, you have 10 different causes of pancreatic cancer, which just justifies yet again how so much of everything is energy, and the emotions, the energy and motion that we tie to stuff. 97% of any disease, ailment, limiting belief is tied to an emotion. And so they use this blood plasma to identify that, and then line up with different types of healers. So I'd like to line up with also like osteos and chiropractors to do full body alignment and then go in and work in the field. I'm also exploring different types of osmosis with saltwater healing with energy. And that's really, really just surfacing. All this year and next year is going to be all about I can't stop going to school. Stop learning. I want to learn like every healing modality under the sun, so it can be like a one-stop shop. But like it's interesting because people are skeptical. They can be skeptical of this in certain circles, in particular people who are quite religious. They're like, what is this? But those are the same people to me that will go eat McDonald's and take Advil. And like I'm like,
yeah.
Why don't you just heal your emotions? I haven't taken anything in years, and this work works. They thought I had cancer like 3 years ago. I had all these polyps on my intestine, and I literally just went to the hospital on Monday this week, and clean bill of health. Not even, they were like, I can't even believe you had polyps before. Nothing. And I was like, it's because of this energy work, and I know it, and emotions work, and like detaching and letting go. Holding up.
Yeah, because I feel that we're always taught to separate the body from the emotion, and we don't really realize, well, most of us don't, how our emotional states will express in the body and how they express as things such as cancer and tumors and stuff like that, along with a lifestyle that's led because of these emotional wounds, like you're saying, McDonald's and Advil and stuff. I still can't believe somebody the other day said something and they were just like, I wasn't feeling well. I think it might have been in regards to the shot. And they're like, so the doctor's like, just do this and take some Tylenol. And I'm like, your doctor still said take Tylenol? Didn't you read how that's like destroying livers? Like it's like mainstream.
Get out of town.
Anyway, it's so funny.
I know, it's so crazy. Like I'm at a point now where I'm not even like wearing deodorant, because I'm like, okay, well, if my body wants to like let it out, like I have a little mark on my chin, this here. I was like, oh, what emotion is that tied to? Instantly, like it's like a little zit. I was like, what emotion is that tied to? And I looked it up, and we're so lucky because the internet's like 8 billion people's brains just dumped into like one central unit. It's so freaking ridiculous. But anyway, it's anger. It's like not being comfortable in your own skin. Totally legitimate. I've just been having like internal conflict about putting my plastic face all over Instagram because I'm finding so many truths. So I'm like, I gotta stop with the face. Like, but I'm doing it because I'm like playing the game to build my audience, and I want to reach people, and people actually really resonate with the message when my face is on there. And I was like, holy shit, this makes so much sense. So I just did a post yesterday about like how like I was uncomfortable in my skin, and that like, my highest self does not want to do that. I would rather not do that, but I want to reach my audience because I need to make a living, and also because I believe what I have to share is good information. And so, funny that. So I'm like, not even like everything that happens to me, I'm like, what's my body telling me? Like, what emotion is this? What could this possibly be that I'm holding on to or that needs to get out? And it changes you. It really does. Changes your outlook on life.
Yeah, simply the fact that you're not going into like despair and upset mode and freaking out because you have a blemish on your face is just medicine enough. And then to try to find the actual root cause of it, yeah, I mean, you're killing it. Good job. Yeah, it's tough, especially when it comes to parents. What's that?
What's that? I said, may I never have a zit again.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to say it's tough, especially for women. You know, men, we don't really care too much. We're just like, whatever. I ripped off my nose. It was a war. It was crazy. But, you know, for women, it's much, yeah. But I've heard there's a ton of different ways to heal the skin, though. Something I've heard recently is urine therapy.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about that, actually.
Have you heard? Yeah. I think I was listening to Crow, an episode he had on Amanda Vollmer, and she was talking about it. So I'm actually going to try that myself and see how it goes. I like to try things. I think that's something that's funny people used to do, but they don't do it anymore. Like someone's like, do you drink coffee? And I'm like, sometimes. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I'm not doing it now, but I did for 6 months. I'm like, I want to see how I feel. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm just trying things out, man. Like, you know, I don't know.
Awesome.
Going for the optimal performance.
I love that. I think that's like part of the great thing about life is like we have so many it's awesome. I'm just all about that. Like I'm not committal. I'm like also I try really hard not to hold on one sec. Let me just get Levi to get my charger. Hold on.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, like no judgment. You know what I mean? I love that. Like I'm never like personally, I'm never like, I would never do this, or how she shouldn't be doing this, because I don't know, like I think it's great to like be at anywhere you are in your path. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I hear exactly what you say, because I feel it's more about the middle path. I think the Taoists get it about just as right as anybody, and they're really just about you know, everything's perfect, and if you're feeling called to do something, it's because you have to do it. And sometimes things left undone can become demons later that will just become these huge dragons that, you know, kill many people when you should have just ate those last 3 fried chickens or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
totally, dude.
yeah. So yeah, I'm the same. I feel the same way. I don't think anytime, you know, I mean, I still do, because I'm not perfect. I mean, people do it, but whenever I feel like I have a feeling like I shouldn't be doing something, I'm like, where's that coming from? Because that's what it is. You know, it's not this dogma and not these rules, because I feel that there's many paths to the mountaintop. You know, these aren't my words. I stole them from people, but you know, many paths to the same peak. And if you can get up there and figure it out, that's really all that matters. And I love that you're doing this healing work. And yeah, we're definitely going to talk more about this in future endeavors, because I want to see how you implement this with people. I would love to try some of these things. Is there anything we could do now that, you know, between me and you on this recording, on a small scale, or?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah, sure. I don't care. I'll do whatever. I'm a whore when it comes to this stuff. Like, A, I want to heal myself, and B, I want ratings. So
yeah. Okay. We can do that. All right. Should we do a little bit of like an activation inward journey?
Sure. What's
just
that
a
mean?
small one. We'll do something easy so that when people are listening, they can actually do it as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So first, just begin by closing your eyes. Okay. Can you hear my voice okay?
I can.
All right. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath. And a deep breath out. Another deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to just go ahead and imagine any negative energy just going and leaving your energy field. Everything leaving the bottom of your feet and the palms of your hands. As you begin to deepen and relax, and just listening to the sound of my voice. Deep breath, and just go ahead and relax as you meld your feet into the ground. Your calves beginning to relax deeper. Moving up to the higher part of your legs, your upper legs. Just feeling your buttocks beginning to just really relax in the seat, or if you're lying down. Feeling your root chakra, just imagine a red laser just coming down from the root straight into the center of the realm. In Pachimama, just the center of the earth. And taking a deep breath. And as you exhale, again, just imagining all that negative energy, anything that's not serving you, leaving the bottoms of your feet and the palms of your hands. Feeling your belly just begin to really seep down deeper and deeper, and relaxing. Your upper chest just beginning to relax deeper and deeper. Feeling your shoulders just deeply, deeply relaxing. As you move down your arms, your upper arms into your lower arms. And again, just turning your palms upward as you're imagining all that negative energy just leaving the palm center and simultaneously pulling in a white light through your fingertips. Just imagining the white light coming in. And take a deep breath, breathe into that. Breathe out. Just pulling in that white light through the fingertips. And then we're just going to focus on the neck area and opening up your throat chakra. And we're just imagining now a white light going and pouring in. And as this white light continues to pour in, I want you to just go ahead and imagine again everything that's not serving you for your highest, pushing out through the palms and the bottoms of your feet. And just pouring in, pouring in. Imagining your jaw now relaxing, your tongue just flopping in your mouth. In the upper part of your head and your crown chakra, also just now, just imagining the white light pouring in through your crown chakra. This is your higher self. So we have white light just coming in from the crown chakra, through your throat chakra, and also through your fingertips, as everything that's no longer serving you for your highest and your golden path is being removed from your energy field now. Taking a deep breath. A big breath out. I want you to go ahead and visualize anything from your past that may have been something that was a hindrance, something that you're holding on to as almost like a golden gift on a big table. Anything that's held you back is now becoming a gift. You can see it. It's just spread out on this big, beautiful table wrapped in gold wrapping paper. I'm just visualizing this. Anytime that you start to feel the pull of anything that you felt was happening against you, because it wasn't, it was a gift, it was here for you. Taking a deep breath as you go ahead and just remember that white light pouring into your body and all the negativity going out of the hands and the bottoms of your feet. And I want you to just, in front of you, you see something that you desire. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a home, maybe it's a particular job. They're just in front of you about 6 feet. Taking a deep breath. really getting that visualization of whatever it is that you desire. And I want you to go ahead and really feel into the energy of this thing. Feel the texture. If it's a person, the skin. If it's an object, the external texture and vibe of whatever it is that you're desiring. Really feel the energy around whatever this is. Smell it and feel the smell going through your nose. Feel this moment in time of having this thing. Go ahead and reach out your hands, and with your fingertips, imagine them like a magnet. Where the white light was once coming in, I want you to pull whatever it is that you desire straight to you, nice and slowly. Continue to pull. Keep pulling until it's completely into your energy field and that you have become this. Your body should be tingling now in that sense of being. Feel the energy of this person, thing. And now I want you to go ahead and just with your hands, take whatever it is that you desired and push it away. Imagine it falling off a ledge into the great abyss, a starry night, just floating gently. Just completely detach yourself from this particular thing. You have become the energy of what it is that you desire, and therefore you have no attachments. And just continue to push it off, watching it float far, far away. I'm going to now take my hands and go ahead and cover you in a white light of receiving all over your energy field, starting at your head, moving down to your shoulders, across your chest, into your belly, down your legs, to your lower legs, into your feet. Taking a deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. Just going to go ahead and invite you to come back to consciousness. When you're ready, just open your eyes, take a deep breath. How are you feeling?
Very refreshed. I feel great.
Okay. That actually is an activation. So you will feel, you just imagine that white light. It's going to be activating for the next probably 24 to 48 hours. So you'll feel like that energy coming out of your hand, all that negative energy. And actually some really crazy shit could happen. So be on alert. Be on alert for
Obviously, Aasha, you've never met me. Some really crazy shit will happen, I'm sure. Don't worry. There's never a lack of crazy shit happening in my life. That's what the second book's going to be about. Don't worry. And these days, it's not even like I get up to many things, but when I do get up to things, it seems that synchronicities happen. People are put in my path, trials, tests, all these things, whatever. But it's yeah, I could see some more coming too. So thank you. No, I do feel some energy also. Like, yeah, I feel like I could see a little bit differently, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's because my eyes are closed for so long, but I'm seeing a little more clearly now. And yeah, that's amazing. So what exactly is that? What exactly is that called now? What we just did?
That is just a unique thing that it's so, my work differs so much. I actually was going to do something completely different, but when we got into it, it went way,
Oh,
interestingly. I
awesome.
was going to
Okay.
do some inner child stuff. Yeah,
Ooh.
so it's a combination of sort of quantum, um it's like quantum, but it's mostly just energy hypnosis activation, really. I've
Gotcha.
got like an amalgamation of everything that I do.
Yeah, I hear what you're
Some people
saying.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes I do so many different things. Like the shamanism has been an amazing incorporation into my work, but that really wasn't any of that. So and hypnosis. But yeah, it's this is really cool. I have clients having the most bizarre stuff happen to them. Like I had this one guy I worked with, and he had a really bad experience doing a job with a carpet company. And then right after the session, he went for a walk, and he's been trying to get off the booze, and he went for a walk. And on the walk, it's crazy. He looked down, and there was like a booklet of like carpet samples and a full bottle of vodka. He was like, what the fuck? He's like, what is that? And I was like, he's like, what is it saying? What is it saying? It was so funny. We were just having such a laugh. But we agreed that it was a sign for him to leave it in his past. And it was he goes, it was crazy because he kept saying stay on the golden path, and it was on the side of the path. And I was like, exactly, I was walking on. And I was like, exactly. So weird stuff can happen. People will come in and out of your life maybe in the next couple of days, but it's always a sign from the universe, God,
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I myself, I try not to put a name on whatever that is, because even in the Bible it says God works in mysterious ways. So I mean, it's like, what's even that force called? So who are we humble people who are part of this creation to try to name it? But yeah, no, I like, we can use God, creator, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that kind of reminded me of, because so a lot of the learning that I did, I came through the new age a little bit, and I never really totally bought into it, but I really liked a lot of aspects of it. So there was some of the meditation that I did and the guided meditations, and that kind of reminded me a little bit of that. But I like where
Yeah.
you were going with that, especially with the detachment aspect, because that's the part that it's like everybody tells you how to manifest what you want, but they don't tell you what happens if you lose it, and that's really what we have to master. And a lot of people end up blaming God and stuff. It's like, well, God took my daughter or whatever it is, or it's like I don't know, I feel more in, even when I was, because I came up as a Catholic, and then around fourth grade I got into a born again Christian church with my family, and we got out of that a few years later. But I kind of remember I like their interpretation of how God works. They're just like, God's there to guide you, and if you need strength and stuff, but it's like, it's not that he actually makes people die. It's kind of like a choice that you can make, it's just, everything's just happening, it's
Yeah.
not like he directly took people. And that's something that I would always try to, and it's amazing to me how hard it has been to enunciate that to people exactly, because I was able to grasp it at such a young age where it made sense to me. Because even like when I was in grade school, people were like, oh, God took my sister, and or whatever, not like someone said that to me directly, but I would think to myself like, no, that's not how it works. But and I think it boils down to really the same kind of issue with dogma. It just has more to do with belief systems and systems of control that people find themselves in, because there's a lot of truth even in mainstream religion. There's truth there. People feel
Absolutely.
good, they get together, they congregate, they're speaking all this truth, they feel something within them. But at the end of the day, a lot of times what people don't realize is they're seeking their validation from an external source. So am I going to be forgiven of my sins? Yes, if the priest says it's okay.
Yeah.
Not if you say it's okay. So
I love that, actually, what you said. And you mentioned like even the new age stuff, and I just find that term so fucking hilarious, if I'm honest, because it's stuff has been around for like hundreds of thousands of years.
yeah, I
Like
know.
shamanism has been around for 200,000 years.
Well,
Like
when I say new age, just to
I
be
know what you
clear,
say.
because the words are, it's so crazy how the words are just so distorted. What I kind of mean is like So religion is the system of control that I see, and then Christianity, like following the path of Christ, esotericism, stuff like that. That's the purity
Yeah.
of it. And then when I see this other stuff, like you could talk about like what Buddha, the path of Buddha, right, is that, and then New Age is more of Buddhism, and you have to like do what the priest says. So that's
Yeah.
kind of that's just for the listeners too. But I know what you're saying though, because they keep repackaging these things, and it's
Yeah.
so
Okay. Same
hilarious.
thing.
It's
It,
yeah,
for me, I'm like, it's the same thing. Like I'll tell you, I don't find it any coincidence that my life path had brought me onto like seeing 17 countries. I've prayed in China, with monks in China, Buddhists in Bali, all over Thailand, all over Japan, I've been to like Maori in New Zealand, ceremonies, and I love culture. So I find it really challenging. Like I like to really try to simplify shit. Like, so you're trying to tell me that like, if all these people don't find Jesus, these people that are living in the middle of like nowhere in Indonesia,
they're just gonna burn for the rest of eternity. Yeah, I know, I know,
how does that actually
I
make
know.
sense? Like, if for me, that actually sounds really quite selfish. Like
Yeah,
that it has to be my way or it's no way. I have a different relationship with Jesus. I believe Jesus was shaman. I believe he was so, dude. Also, like, can we just make a note that if you're that close to God, if you're God's son, like you'd be having the best time ever. Him and Mary Magdalene would be crushing. Like they would have just been rocking around, like literally the happiest people in the world. Like you can't not be when you're enlightened. Like everything's
yeah.
beautiful.
I
It's the
I
love frequency. So
I
I feel.
tend. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, I believe that part of my path was to bring back the idea that we're all connected and that it's always love. It's always love. Like remember when you were saying, like even like what I was saying, it sounded crazy. I would reach out to my friends, certain friends, and sometimes people weren't even picking up the phone. They were text messaging me like, "You're losing your fucking mind." And I realized like that the two women that I had in my life that just held space. It's such a gay thing to say, but they held space for me.
I love that you say gay. That's hilarious.
I know I'm from Boston. I'm sorry, I do.
No, I'm from Connecticut, so I say gay and retarded, and people get, and I'm like, listen, when I say retarded, I don't mean mentally handicapped people. That's you being bigoted because that's what you see in your head. I mentally handicapped is different. Retarded is a person who could be normal but is acting slowed down because of the way they feel or act. Yeah, it's like, anyway, go ahead.
I had someone tell me I need to take a cultural sensitivity course. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't believe in censorship. I just think it's hilarious. Like, why can't I say fuck? I just don't get it. Anyway, so I was going to say, I don't remember what we were talking about, but I believe that like part of my path is to remind people that it's literally the love frequency. We're energy. Just get love yourself first, and then you'll love everybody else around you. That's the full consciousness is being in love and integrity, full truth, full love. And it's that simple. In order to do that, you've got to love every little bit about yourself. In order to love yourself, you have to go inward and figure out what it is that you're holding on to. It's like super simple for me. I'm like, this is so simple. We should all be doing this.
Yeah,
So
it's this easiest, hardest thing that you'll ever do. That's what I try to tell people because the way that we're raised in this whole society, and it really just comes down to what the world is. And this is what I've been trying to harp on lately and tell people that basically the world that you see, the society, whatever you want to call it, Babylon, people refer to it as, the government, whatever, that whole Hollywood. It's not for you, but for everyone else who's like maybe listening or watching, that is basically totally in 180 inverted to what nature is, right? So nature, everything exists differently. So it's not that you can't exist or prosper in the world. It's just that you have to realize, or that one has to realize, that is all inverted. And while you're in that world and you're acting that way, it's going to have a toll on you. It's going to have a toll on your body. And like you said, detachment is really the key, because if you can learn detachment at the highest level, I believe you can go back and forth between these worlds without really affecting you. And you can actually just exist in one world inside yourself, because you'll have the balance at all time. You'll have that internal balance no matter what storm's going on and raging outside. And that's kind of where I feel like I'm at right now with trying to feel with this world, like trying to take that message and push it to other people, like dilute it, because I have this way of making very complicated subjects easy for people to
Oh, that's
to
awesome.
understand and break down. Yeah, like I used to do it with cars in the
Okay.
back in the day in another life. Like I worked in the car business. I sold cars, and then like toward the end of that, I was working in the service department, and I knew a lot about car motors, and I knew how to break it down and dumb it down for people, basically. You know,
Yeah.
and what I see here, what you were to go back to what you're saying about like how this message of Jesus and how the new age and religion and stuff, how they're able to get their control. I just feel like people are from such a young age, we're just taught to get all our validation from external sources. So it seems that
Totally.
if you go against that, you're taught to kind of have an inner conflict, really, because your intuition is telling you one thing, and then your ego, whatever your part, that side of you, is telling you another thing. And I was actually just writing about this in my books. I'm finishing, I'm trying to finish up this chapter 9 so I could get it out. Which is that,
Yeah. I can't wait.
yeah, I'm just like rewriting a section of it, and it should be done this week, hopefully. It's that inner conflict and trying to resolve that. And then once you could do that, you can kind of create from a much better place. And I was saying this to my co-host Ashley in the Terrible podcast, because she's starting her own business and venturing out. And I'm like, you're going to get a lot of flack from your family because it's the way they are, like we were talking about that, and from a lot of other people who are existing in the world and just kind of working for somebody else and not, and just being safe, So
Yeah.
I don't know really where I was going with this whole thing, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just like
Absolutely. And like I'll touch on that actually. I've dealt with that. Like I ascended really quickly, like so fast. I was, I wouldn't say asleep, but I was definitely like, this has been like a 7-month process. And I'm like, bing, and so it's such an interesting thing when you're moving that quickly. Like people take years to get through this stuff. And so when you have that inner conflict,
there's
there has
something
been
different
nights where
about
I'm like,
2020
it was like,
though. There's something different about 2020 and 2021. I think that's what not to divert you, but I think that's what the masks are about, and these whatever you want to call it, illnesses and sicknesses, because I feel like these times are more magical. Something's going on, because even in my own life, I'm manifesting things I don't even mean to. And I'm like, wow, I got to be careful what I'm like thinking about. I'm like, I wonder what it would be like to do this. And then like a week later, I'm doing this. I'm like, whoa, yeah. So I love it. That's probably why I think it's a vibration. Best way I've heard it explained. It's just
absolutely.
yeah. And once you get to that, it's kind of, because we're both fans of Owen Benjamin, and he has all different types of fans that believe different things. And some of us who are fans of him who aren't so much into like dogmatic things are starting to notice and hear things he's saying, and it's like really resonating. It's like, wow, like the things that he's starting to put together or just say, it's like really magical. And it's just his vibration, I feel, because you could have any belief system or structure that you want, but like I said, many paths to the same mountaintop, and that mountaintop is the truth. So as long as you're seeing that truth, you're just expressing it in a way. And I think it's exciting because he has that skill also that I was speaking about, where he's able to put large topics and dumb it down and make it hilariously funny. So it's just an exciting time. I mean, but anyway, go back to what you're saying.
Oh, for
I
sure.
just sidetracked you.
No, I love that. I love
Yeah, it's
that you
like,
said that because interestingly, I was I had a friend introduce me to Owen Benjamin, and instantly I felt like we're like the same person. Like it's so bizarre. I was like, dude, he's so similar to me. Like we have so much in common. I'm pretty sure he woke up in a very similar fashion to me, simply by the way that he discusses everything. Like I'm like, that motherfucker is like awake. Like he knows what's up. There's and there are so many bears that I'm lining up with, yourself included, where we're vibrating on the same frequency. It's so obvious. Like I got this one particular bear, I'm just going to say his name, Welder Bear, where like totally like, it's almost like this like brother sister thing. Like I know him from like another time. And like, I just said to these guys, I said, guys, like we've known each other for like a month. Like, dude, like we could know each other for the next 50 years, bro. Like, and we keep talking about cracking the code to eternal life, and like through our healing modality. We're
I
like,
can't wait to get
Welder Bear is
involved in some of these. I've been so like
yes,
wrapped up in
I
busy
know
things, but yeah, I will
you're
soon.
gonna come to one of the things because
Oh,
Welder
totally.
Bear, a Welder Bear, I was in emotions and then I had my ascension. Welder Bear is an electricity. He's a Scorpio. I'm a Pisces. I was like, dude, this is no coincidence, bro. Like, we did a healing session and it was like, it cracked him open. He was like, dude, I think I'm an alchemist. I'm like, you are an alchemist. Now we're like trying to figure out what that looks like for as we move forward, because I know that, like, I'm like, man, even if we're together for like the next 20 years, do you have any idea how much we can accomplish in that time? Like, I'm not stopping. I love what I do. Like, I'm not going to retire from helping people. Like, why would I ever do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. You know, I mean, it's such a cheap saying, but it's so
Exactly.
true. Like,
And like, I'll always be taken care of. I will always be taken care of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, this year is really about me, like, pushing. I'm going for it. Like, I want growth, and I'm on my own. I'm a single mom. And so I've got some financial goals. No one's coming to rescue me on their white steed. So I'm just going in with that mentality, and it, you know,
careful what you
whatever.
wish for. I'm just
Exactly.
saying this year's, it's just a humble warning.
I
No,
know.
that's a
I
great
will
way to be though.
tell you, the Bears are having a meetup in July, and I've gotten 3 signs to go. And I was like, oh, should I go? Because I'll just be coming back from America. And my shaman is down in North Carolina, and she's awesome. She's like 68. She's been doing this for like 40 something years. She's just like unbelievable. Her energy is like just this amazing beeline. So she's like she's in North Carolina. So I was like, I might just drive down to that party. Do you know Rhino Bear? And then go and keep going and go to North Carolina on my way down to North Carolina. Just do a little bit of a road trip.
That's cool. When's the meetup? You said July. What's the
It's
date?
in July. Are you going to be able to come? 4th of July weekend.
Well, oh, is it on the 4th of July or is it before it?
Yeah, it's on the 4th of
Oh,
July.
that's awesome. It depends if I have gigs or not. I don't even know if that thing still exists. I'm like contracted through my DJ company, but because I refuse to wear a mask, it's, yeah, of course. I get limited things because some places value me and some customers are like, yeah, this guy is killing it. So we don't want a masked up retard DJ in our wedding, but just kidding, everyone. This is a comedy podcast. So yeah, I mean, I could be free. And that's actually the reason I was asking what the exact date was because my birthday's July 2nd. So I was trying to be like, is this another crazy sign? Because recently I've
That's awesome.
yeah, well, I'm working on this thing for a bit, which is that July 2nd seems to be this crazy date throughout history where all these weird things happen. Well, not weird, but just these synchronistic events happen. Like Martin Luther became a monk on that day. Like the forefathers originally were said to have like declared independence on that day, and then the declaration got signed a couple of days later, or whatever. But there's like Roswell, the aliens landed that day. Amistad, the revolt was that day. There was like a bunch of things I was going through. So I had this whole joke where I'm still gonna do it, where I'm gonna go through all these dates and get a couple key ones that would really kick in, and then there's some funny ones too, and then just say that, be like, guys, I think they were all like trying to give an ode to my birth, like, and I'm going to go into where I think I'm like the next Jesus, because I'm like, guys, look at this, like I shaved my head last night, like, like the Santa Claus kind of thing, like, guys, I can't help it, like this guy came up to me and tried to rob me, and instead of like, I have a gun, I could have shot him, but I just talked him out of it, and now he's like an insurance salesman, like, you know what I mean, like, so yeah, I think
That is awesome. I love that story. You're hilarious. Cool. So that's awesome. So what a great day to be born. And that sounds like we should have a cake if you're able to make it.
yeah, I don't see why not, unless I said, unless, like I said, everything gets back to how it is and I have to fulfill some obligations. If not, I really have nothing else holding me here. What part of North Carolina is it in?
Oh no, he's in
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
he's in Pennsylvania.
I'm just gonna cruise down and yeah, hit up the
Oh,
party.
okay.
I had like 3 or 4 signs to go, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but I'm gonna go for it. It's Rhino Bear is his name, if you don't know him. So anyway, he's a cool guy. He's in one of my like chat groups. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm heading back to the United States in July. Like, or the end of June. I'm not sure yet. We're just kind of cruising. Like, my son and I are pretty cruisy. We have like everything that we own can fit in one bag. And yeah, I've got no attachments to anything. So I'm just like, all right, whatever, we'll go when the universe decides. I keep trying to get over to the US and it keeps pushing me back. I just got asked to be on a game show. So NBC America is filming in Australia because of COVID. And so NBC's starting a new game show and I just got picked. I've got finalized. So I'm going to be on this game show, which has got like 5 million viewers.
What's
And
the
so
show?
I'm not allowed to say yet, actually.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, don't say it on air either. All right.
I won't. And so I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, hopefully it all works out. And when it does, it's an opportunity for me to continue to build my message in my audience, which is really the most important thing for me, is trying to reach as many people as I can so that,
if you can get on network TV like that, you're going to get some, because they always push, because my parents are big fans of a lot of these shows and they always push them to the social media. So
Yes. Yeah. And, I'm pretty like high energy. So I think
come on.
me, I know. Can you believe it? I think the guy was like, dude, they're going to love you. And they were just asking so many questions about emotional intelligence and emotional regulation. And I just think it's awesome because the great thing is, Brandon, as I do feel like if anybody is even just like, shit, I don't know who I am and wants to start at like square one, or if they're like, I see demons, I'm like, I got your back. Wherever you're at, I got you. And so I think it can be a good opportunity for me to hopefully get the message out. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not, I'm not attached to any outcome. I would hope in this lifetime that I get the chance to do that, because my ultimate goal is to open up a children's healing center for orphan children that might have undergone extensive amounts of trauma, and where I can help them heal through dance, art, and comedy, and energy healing.
All right. Well, I have your artist comedian if you need one. I have one. I know.
Yes, of course. Everybody's invited. Like, I want it to be this. My son, we used to live in Indonesia, in Bali, and my son went to school at Green School, which is this beautiful place. It's like the most amazing school. It's all made out of bamboo, and it's all about holistic approach of living. And I taught emotional intelligence to the high school kids there. And it's an inspiration for me to make, just like a little house I can live in, and then beautiful little centers for all the kids. And so it's open invitation, like come and help and be part of it. It's like, isn't that beautiful? Like getting people together, like having fun with kids, like,
yeah.
Could you want anything else? It's like the best thing ever to me.
Yeah. I hear you. That sounds awesome. I keep having like feelings to do something like that around here, but I just don't know what that's going to look like or whatever. But yeah, I'm down to do stuff like that, because I feel you can even incorporate stuff like that with like a homestead, like a petting zoo, and like horses, and like showing people how to live again. Like, this is how you grow food. This is how you fix a flat tire. Like, this is how you survive in the world, and not have a support system structure if you need it, but not have to rely on other people to do everything for you. It's like,
and you know what, the Green School in Bali, it's completely off grid. Everything's water, electricity. The kids were like learning how to like farm mangoes, and they use the human compost systems.
That's great.
Fertilizer, and then they were learning how to treat bamboo and work with bamboo, and it's just like the most beautiful thing. And that is exactly what it's all about. It's about like, how can we make like a really epic center? I'd like it to be in the US. It's tied to any location. I'm kind of like flexible with that right now. I think it's a little too early to tell, but all that said, like, dude, totally come on board. You can be like the comedian guy or whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit. It's going to be like awesome.
Yeah.
So
I have other people that'd be interested too. So
yes,
we'll talk about this more off stream for sure. And this is probably a good place to wrap it up. You want to give a shout out to how people can find you again in your work if they're interested in talking to you about this kind of stuff?
Yeah, thank you so much, Brandon. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. I love you. Okay. So it's Aasha T Healing on Instagram. So it's like Aasha.t.healing on Instagram. Aasha. And if you want to hit me up on email, it's connect@AashaTHealing, which also kind of looks like ass hat healing, which is hilarious, but it's 2 A's, SHAT healing.
Go to Ass Hat Healing, guys.
Yeah, ass hat healing. So also I'm on Facebook as well. I drop a lot of content. I give everything away for free. I'm on Facebook and Twitter as Aasha T Healing. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. And also I have a YouTube channel that I just started as well. So that's Aasha T Healing. And I would love to hear from everybody. And if anyone's listening and would like to hear more about EQ Culture, which is our program for organizations, I really curb the woo-woo and just go in and work with organizations. And we have an awesome team that does that. It's a 9-month program, and it's really amazing because you know, your vibe attracts your tribe, and that's, you show up as a leader and you want to lead with real understanding. The competencies of EQ are going to get you there. So
awesome. Yeah. That sounds like something I'm interested in. So we'll talk more about that.
Oh, I love that. Oh, cool.
All right, everybody. Well, you can, to support my work, you can go to shadowworked.com and go read the first 2 chapters of my book and buy it when it comes out. Thanks everybody for listening. And until next time, we'll see you later.